Hey, so I've just created a demo of one of my earlier games, and the I didn't do a face capture; it was only screen capture, so you won't see my face next to the image from the screen. Um, let's just go straight to it. Have fun. Hi, I'm Thomas Wyszo from wyszowordpress.com. That's WYSZO wordpress.com, and I found a couple of games I've created earlier, like a couple of years ago. They were all lying on my hard drive, and I wanted to just show one of them. So this one has been created in a week during an online competition from Warsztat, which is Polish game development website. So I didn't know Python back then. Well, to be honest, I don't really know Python today either. I just sometimes when I need a scripting language, I tend to choose Python. So my code tends to be very basic, but still it gets the job done even though I don't know the more advanced feature of the language. So at the time I wanted to play a little bit with Python as a game development language, and I wanted to see whether it's easy to create a game in Python or not. So there was this framework PyGame, which I believe is still being developed, and it seemed to be the go-to framework for any two-dimensional stuff. So I just downloaded it and started playing with it. So I've created the game about swines, about pigs, and although it's written in Python, I've created a precompiled version using a tool which is named Py2Win, which just enables you to create a Windows binary out of your Python files. So this way, you don't have to. It's just easier to deploy it to Windows machines because you can bundle the libraries with your application, and it works. So user doesn't have to have the Python installed because it comes as a part of the executable. So let's just quickly have a look. Oh, I see the README file in here. I wanted to just check which year was that when I developed the game, but I don't really see that. Anyway, let's just run the game. I don't know, the antivirus started running, but maybe it will work anyway. Yay! So there is this pixel art. Basically, not only fonts, but the whole game is in this pixel art style, which became a very popular recently. Well, the game has at least more than a couple of years, so it was created in this style even before it became cool. So there is this first view which doesn't make much sense. It's just, I don't know, I think it was supposed to be a joke, parental warning. Doesn't matter, let's press space and jump to the intro. Yeah, and there are very annoying sounds which have been recorded by me. Just emulated pig sounds, and I remember having tons of fun recording them. I remember that my family had lots of laughs as well. So let's just do a quick voiceover. May 1998, humanity received first transmission from outer space, first transmission from aliens, and they came to us in their shiny flying saucers. But they were a little less friendly than we expected. And so they started to exterminate the plague of our planet, humanity. You happen to be the last survivor in the city, and there is only one thing you can do. Smiley face. Yeah, so this is the stupid intro and music which has been just taken from somewhere, I don't even know. So the whole graphics has been created by me, obviously. That's why it looks how it looks, but I still like the graphics style. And the name of the game is just The Simplest Game Part 5. There have been some earlier. Let me see if I can turn down the volume. So I've created the graphics using some, I don't know, GIMP or whatever. And I just remembered that I spent like a week creating the whole game. It was not done as a full-time commitment, just as a part-time stuff to do. So this is the main menu, and earlier versions of the game, earlier iterations of the simplest game has not been connected to pigs motif in any way. It's just that the whole bunch of games were just named The Simplest Game, and the title was the only common thing between them. So we can press tab to insert coins, and coins just determines how many lives we will have. We can press escape to quit the game, or just press enter to start it. So let's jump straight into the action. So this is we're inside the game. We see we've just taken a hit. So there are swines in the building. Yeah, we've just died. So basically, at the bottom of the screen there is our hand with a gun, and in the block, in the windows or other areas of the screen, just swines keep popping in, and our objective is to just exterminate them. So let's try to beat that score. It should be pretty easy. So let's try again. And yay, when we shot, just the swine changes its color and it just goes down with a nice sound. And the game becomes a little bit easier further when we go. Yeah, 132. Let's try again. So more swines start to pop in. Oh, at the beginning only one is being presented simultaneously, but as we progress there are more and more and more. Oh yeah, it's becoming more difficult. No, I didn't beat the score. Let's try once again. So the game has only one level, and the objective is to just beat your score. There are no further levels, so when you die, that's over. You cannot progress. But I would say it's still pretty much fun. I mean, it's a very simple game, but I had tons of fun creating it. I had tons of fun creating the graphics. I'm not a graphic designer by any stretch. Oh my god, how many? And I got 168. Let's try to beat that one again. So it was difficult for me to just create even as simple graphics as this, but it was fun to play with the new library. It was fun to just do a game as stupid as this one. I mean, I've incorporated the motif of pigs in other games. Oh my god, 4 of them simultaneously? Seriously? It's too difficult for me. But it was definitely tons of fun. And regarding Python as a game development language, well, I think it's a pretty decent option if you're trying to create a simple game as this one, because it's a high-level language, so you don't have to just worry about memory management and that kind of stuff. But to be honest, any modern language, yeah, I've got my new high score, 240. But to be honest, any decent modern language will be good enough, because this is not a game which has a huge requirements in terms of the language support. You just have to be able to bleed some graphics onto the screen, to just run some music and sound effects, and that's it. But I usually used to develop games in C++, not higher level language, so it was definitely, well, it would have been way more productive if I was more proficient with Python. On the other hand, Python obviously is an interpreted language. There are some tricks you can leverage to make a compiled version. Like, you have seen that I was running the executable because I've used this py2in tool, and I believe there is an alternative tool which enables you to do basically the same, to create the executable from your Python files. So there are options to make it executable, but it will still be slower than a native language, which doesn't really matter because right now machines are so, well, that was a bad run. Anyway, right now the machines are so blazing fast that creating a game like this, it's not a problem for our CPUs and graphics cards. It's trivial. So I would say that if you want to create a game like this, just use the technology that you know best, and try to use the higher level language instead of going crazy with C++ or something like that. I've created games using C++ language, and I'm not sure if that's a good option because it just makes your programming slower. And I used to think that it's worthwhile to do some clever stuff, and the more clever stuff, the more difficult stuff you do, the better. But my approach changed completely. Right now I believe that the technology doesn't matter that much, it's just what you do with the technology. So you are supposed to, I mean, just try to do cool stuff, and the user won't see the technology anyway. So you won't impress the player with the technology stack you have used. The user will only see your game. So if you can create a game in Python in no time, don't go with C++, just choose Python. If you don't know Python but you know Objective-C, for example, probably Objective-C would be a viable option. Obviously it would just limit the number of platforms you can use, but all I'm saying is that it doesn't make sense to use the most difficult technology available just to try to impress anyone. So that was the simplest game, part 5. I hope you had fun, because I sure had fun creating the game and then presenting it back to you. Cheers.